I'm gonna give everybody about 5 more minutes before I start. Can you hear me, Sheree?
Shakira.
Yes, can you hear me?
Hey girl, yeah, I hear.
Okay,
I forgot
okay.
to text you back. I but
You
you
went
did your
you went out.
presentation. Oh, you hear me
Now I
now?
hear you. Now I hear you.
Your presentation. I love it.
Oh,
Oh my
thank you.
God.
Thank you. I
Oh
sent it
my
to
God.
it was a few little grammatical things that I made and I went through, and it was one page I think I took out because it just had something that I wasn't too sure, like
Yeah.
100% sure I would be able to do.
Right.
So I took it wasn't like a big important page, it was like an informational page. And so I took that out and I sent it to her yesterday, and our appointment's today at 4.
Oh, girl.
So I do have a listing appointment today with
I
her.
said she ain't playing.
Let me tell you, it took me because remember I said, well, I'm not gonna have time to do it tonight. But because I've done it
It's
before,
not. It doesn't take
it took
long.
me like 20 minutes.
Yep, it doesn't take long. I know with the one that I did, and I remember everything once she told me to go to designs. I'm like,
Uh,
oh, that's where she told me to go.
yeah.
Because I saw the ones that I had done already in there. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And I got another client last night. Well, he's
Yes.
looking in June. And you know the
Hey,
guy
that's
that
fine.
I recommended to Justin for the
Yes.
cleaning. He did the cleaning on the house. And so, he emailed me. He was what text me. He was like, "Girl, that house was a mess." And he said it didn't have water or nothing.
Oh
So
God.
yeah, so it was hard.
How did you
So
clean it with no water?
he brings all his stuff. They had almost like a car wash. He does
Oh,
everything.
okay.
He has everything. And so he said, but we got it
Miss
cleaned
Vic is
and
coming in.
Justin was real pleased.
That's good.
So, so we were
That's
like, oh
good.
my gosh. So, but I'm excited, girl.
Yes, that is
Woo!
awesome. Look, I'm
I
sorry.
know.
Look, y'all, I'm back on steroids. And so
Oh,
my face will be back out here.
oh,
Probably I have been for like another 2 months.
okay.
So if y'all start seeing my face, it's too
Your eyes gonna get smaller and smaller.
and I already have small eyes, which is crazy. So
But you're still beautiful, so it don't
thank you,
matter.
girl.
That's all that matters.
I'm
Hey,
like, "Ugh."
Vicky.
Hey, Miss Vicky. I'm gonna give everybody about 2 more minutes, 9:05. I'm gonna go ahead and start.
Okay, let me
Because
go.
this is
Good morning, y'all.
good
Hey,
morning.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm on my way into the office, so give me a minute. I'll be on. You'll see me in a minute.
No
Okay, yeah, I'm
problem.
about to just take my
Okay.
face off
All
for
right.
just a minute so I can set up, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I'm starting like 9:05 so that I can, start because this is actually one of my favorite sections. I didn't even realize when I signed up for Wednesdays that I'll be doing this section.
Okay, okay. So let me go get my.
Well, let me say it was one of my favorites to learn. I haven't taught this section, so let me see
Okay.
how I teach it.
Oh, but hey, you're gonna learn it now that you got to teach it.
Yes, like I was going through it yesterday and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Just
that is how it goes. Once you teach it, you definitely got it then.
yeah.
So,
I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen so I can get that set up.
okay, hold on 1 second, okay?
No problem. Okay.
All right.
Do y'all see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Don't forget to record, Shakira.
I'm recording.
Okay, love.
I think I'm recording. Let me stop and double check. Yes, it's recording. I want to double check to make sure. Okay, y'all ready?
We're ready.
Let's go ahead and get started. I'll just let people in as we go, as they come in.
Okay.
So today is the night we're doing Spark session number 5, and it is setting goals that matter. And like I was saying before, this was one of my favorite sessions when it was taught to me. So when I was going over it all last night, I was getting a little excited. I'm thinking, because to me, this is one of those when I first started that really answered a lot of questions. And I feel that helped me really get started or to know where to start. So as far as introductions, this is just us three. We know each other, so
Right.
we don't need to introduce each other. But are there any questions or comments or anything that anyone wants to go over before we start today?
No, I think I shared everything with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today our focus will be how to cultivate your leads into opportunities.
Okay.
So like we said before, there's the secret to being successful is that there's really no secret. So the two things that we do every day and to be successful agents, what are they, Cherie? What are the two things we do every day?
The two things:
Look on the street.
lead generate.
Well, we grow our
Oh,
business.
grow our business and run our business.
That's it.
Right.
Those are the two things
I'm
that
not
we do.
looking at the screen part. Duh. Yeah.
Look, that's gonna be a trick question. That is something that Katie asked us every day. What are the two things you do every day? You grow your business and you run your business. And one thing, like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying, what I learned from Miss Vicky, put that on your calendar. Time block growing your business, time block running your business. That's what we do. So this time, that's what we're talking about, growing and running our business. But today, the skills we're going to work on is under grow your business. It's going to be every day we lead generate for buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm.
And then under running your business, just by being here today and doing this training, you're running your business. Because as you can see in number 8 on under run your business is 10 training and getting coaching. This is part of running your business. This is on your calendar. You you set this on your calendar to do this for your business. And finally, one of our main goals today is setting goals. Let Tiffany in. Okay, so setting goals. These are the things that we're focusing on today: lead generation, setting goals, and attending training and coaching. Those are the things we're doing today or discussing. So, like I said, today, we're going to cover setting goals, which is a part of running your business. We're going to ask the big questions. Where do you want to go? What's your motivation? And last, but certainly not least, how do you get there? So today's model is called Set Goals That Matter. So I'm going to ask you a question. What makes a goal matter? What do you think? Tiffany, you can chime in if you can. Ms. Vicky, anybody?
I think what makes a goal matter is when it is, I guess, when you have something to quantify it. You know, in education, we always talk about SMART goals. And, I can't remember all the acronyms, but, something attainable, has a time associated with it, just, all of those factors. But it just has to have something that you can quantify it with, I always say.
Yes.
Well, with me,
it has to be realistic, and you have to focus on why is that goal important to you? So your big
Mhm.
one.
Yes.
The same here. I'm gonna piggyback off of Miss Vicky as well. I think the motivation, the why behind the goal,
Hmm.
plays a big factor, especially in not only setting the goals, but like keeping, keeping track,
Mhm.
keeping up with it. Yeah.
I know for me, it's one of those, if I don't have a goal, I'm just out here working with, without something specific in mind. Goals keep me guided.
Yes.
Yeah.
They keep me guided because if I can just be working, but what am I working for?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So to me, that's what makes a goal matter, because it keeps me guided. Okay. So the one big thing, that's a Gary Keller book that I need to get. It's a book by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan about how to structure your life to achieve the goals. We're going to be talking about a few of the principles from the one thing today, but it says you guys should definitely check it out. And when I say you, I'm referring to us, including myself, because I have not checked this one out yet. So the quote says, "Who we are and where we want to go determine what we do and what we accomplish." So we already said, why is it important to set goals? That was our thing. It's important to set goals, and this is what it says. It's important to set goals because the opposite of this quote is also true. What you do and what you accomplish determines who you are and where you go. If your activities don't have a guided goal, I was in the right area, you'll likely be very busy and not have a lot to show for it. The mission of KW is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. None of those things just happen. So setting goals that matters means doing work that matters. When our work matters, we tend to make more of it. We tend to do more of it and do it well. Any questions, comments? Y'all know just this conversation. Y'all chime in when y'all want to. So, okay. So a part of achieving your goal is working hard. I mean, we all know that. We're all pretty hardworking people. If you don't put in the time and effort, you won't get far. So looking at this chart, you start at the corner down here at 0, but the more time and effort and the more thinking and things you do, of course, your actions and everything come up. Now, if you want small actions, you do little bitty actions, things, you're going to get a small outcome. But if you do a lot, big actions, you'll get a big outcome. So you don't get big outcomes from thinking small, right? You have to think big to get big outcomes. And I know for me, at first, when I jumped into this, which is almost a year ago, people were talking about, $100,000 here, $100,000 there, you can make this. And I'm like, whoa, let me start at like 50, But we have to stop having those limited beliefs. My goal, even if it's my goal is big, it's achievable. I just have to do the big actions to get to it. So I think to me it's, let's not limit our goals. Just because if we don't reach it, strive for it. You can't strive for what you didn't set.
And you're so right about that, Shakira, because I tend to, you can do things, but I think I've had this part-time mentality with real estate when I know it's something that I want to do and I enjoy doing, but I have to have a full-time mindset for it. So I can't just rely on, okay, I'll just do it, when I get a chance. I have to be intentional. And that's my word for this year is be more intentional. And I've noticed every time I'm intentional and doing what I'm supposed to do, I have greater outcomes when I put that time, that effort, and I'm thinking of different things. So I'm starting to get those bigger outcomes. So I'm excited.
Just a simple faith without work is dead.
Exactly.
We can believe it, but like say, we love to quote scriptures, we love to do things, and we always say faith without work is dead. Keyword, we have to work for it. We can pray for it and ask for it, but if we don't do the work for it, what are we praying for if we're not gonna work for it? So that's me. That's just how I feel. Anything else from anybody?
I thought that was good, Shapiro, and Sheree. I mean, just looking at this chart, is like the bigger you think, the more actions you'll take, and the bigger your outcome will be. And so, I think sometimes it's good for us to aim higher than what we really think we can do. And I mean, I guess if we want to go back biblical terms, is if you, and they say, even in quotes, like if your dreams aren't if they don't scare you, they're not big enough. But
That's
and I
it.
was reading something to where it said, if you only set goals based off of what you think you can achieve, then you won't get very far. But they said to make them big, to make them supernatural, and to allow divine intervention to come in. So sometimes your goals, they're supposed to scare the heck out of you, because if you only set goals that you know you can achieve, you're not allowing God to guide you. So those things really hit home.
Millionaires don't have thousandaire state of minds.
That's true.
And we have to allow ourselves to be stretched, because if we stay inside of our comfort zone, then we're not gonna look for more. We're not gonna set big goals. And when we set goals, we're gonna be looking to doing everything that it takes to achieve those goals. So we have to be stretched, and we have to think big, and it's okay to think big.
We can't be content where we at.
Right. And that's the stretching. We have to stretch ourselves. We have to get outside the box.
Yep. So then, speaking about, look, Miss Vicky leading me right on into the next slide.
Oh,
so yes, ma'am. So the question you need to ask yourself is, how big is your box?
Oh, wow.
if you're not thinking big, you're creating an artificial ceiling of achievement. We're creating those things that we can't do. There are only so many hours in the day. There's only so much one person can do with those hours. So let's think of a time that you've been thinking small, and I'll start. Like I said before, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this to Tiffany when we started last year together. We were setting our goals. I think either I was doing it by myself or I talked to somebody about it. Setting my goals, and I remember saying, I said, well, I'm gonna start at 50,000 a year. I'm coming in off disability, doing things. I'm gonna start small, because to me that was realistic. And I'm just thinking again now. I'm like, why did I do that? If I had a set bigger goals, I probably would have done better. So
I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Look here, I set my goals at like 100, but it's the middle of the year. So
yeah. We were having those conversations. I think we kept lowering our goals. Honestly, if I'm be honest with in this group, we lowered our goals to do what we thought that we could actually achieve.
Yep.
And that is not what we should have done.
Yep.
We should have kept our goals at that 100 and did what we had to do to get to it by any means necessary.
That's so true.
That's what we should have done.
Yeah, they say, when you shoot for the moon, you'll at least, if you don't hit it, you'll at least land among the stars.
Exactly.
So, even if we had kept our goal at 100,000, even if we didn't see that at that time, we would have gotten so farther than where we were, because
we limited our beliefs at that was not going to happen for us. And that's what we did, and that's what we're not going to do. And I'm going to speak for both of us, because that is my accountability partner, and that's not what we're going to do this year. And we're going to set up a meeting soon and set our goals together. Right. I'm just putting Tiffany on the spot. Go, Tiffany. You can go.
Oh, I was gonna say we really need that kick in the butt sometimes, because
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about. Not only sharing the wins, but when things don't go the way they should, or when it's time to pivot and switch up and hold ourselves accountable, even on a different level, we got to do that too. So eat the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's it. That's it. So anyone else want to share a time that they were thinking small or things, or their goals? Gerald, I see you on here. You might be working. So if not, we'll move on. Like I said, many new agents, like I said, they limit themselves right away. Maybe they don't call their sphere and they just hope that business will come their way. I know that's what I thought at first. Maybe they aren't systematic about lead generation, and maybe they refuse to learn scripts that would have make their job easier. But most of the agents don't stay in the business because they treat it as a business, or they burn out because they aren't seeing a good return for their time and effort. And when I think of this, I think of that be, do, achieve thing. Sometimes we just have to remember that sometimes it's just be, do, be, do, be, do, be, do, be, do, then we'll achieve it. It's not going to always come right away. It's not going to always be, do, achieve, be, do, achieve. You have to put in that work. You gotta have so many no's before you get a yes. To me, those no's have helped me get better at getting more yeses. So we just have to keep in mind it's not going to come right away all the time. And then sometimes you start out real fast and you get there, and then there's something holding back. There's something, there's a shift. Like we like to say, there's a shift. Or there's something, you have to do more work. So let's not get discouraged. Let's just keep putting in the work. Okay. So, y'all got a piece of paper. Cherie, you got a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, good. This is one of those things that I like one of my favorite activities that we did. So we're gonna do an activity to help you envision your big life. Have you did this one before, Cherie, in Ignite? You're on mute.
This is my first time in Ignite, but
okay.
I think we did this, if it's what I think it is.
Okay.
In, another class. I can't remember which one it was.
Okay. So we're going to think of doing an activity that's going to help you envision your big life. So once you have that vision in place, we're going to set meaningful goals that you will bring closer to that life. Once you have the goals, we can talk about it, how to reach them, but it all begins with your vision. This is what you want to do. I want you to draw a circle in the middle of paper. And then you see how the chart is, you draw 5, squares outside of that box. This is actually something I need to do again because this is part of setting my goals for this year. So I'm going to be simply doing it as well. 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, let me see. First thing you do, write in each rectangle, write a person or a cause that you care about, or something you like, or something like, say, something you want to do. Write something you want to do in those triangles. I mean, not triangles. I can't even do my shapes. Those rectangles. Let me see. Okay. Then, let me see. What would you like to do for that person or cause? You can repeat, those things for you on those rectangles. Write the things that you would want to do. Like if you put student loans, you know, pay off this amount of student loans. If you want to get a new home, how much would this new home be? Or your debt, your personal debt, if you want to pay off your debt, those things, right? What it is and how much it will cost you. I know for me, sometimes I like to overestimate just to make sure. So then you take those numbers, you add them together and put that number in that center circle. That'll tell you how much that's going to cost. Because some parts of your big life will likely require time as well as money. So you'll need to budget your time in terms of the money as well. So do you have your number in your circle? That's your goal. Your number in the middle of your circle is your goal. Now, we're not saying that these are things you have to do all this year. You might focus on one thing this year. But to get your big life and to fulfill everything, that's your goal. That's a goal to start at. Whether it's personal, whether it's business, that's the goal to start at. Because it might take you $100,000 to pay off student loans, or to get a new house, or to pay off your mortgage, or things like that. So that you can focus on that one thing for the year. But these are 5 goals to start with. You know, some people have like a 5-year plan. Here you go. This is the easy way to start a 5-year plan. Any questions, comments, concerns? Jared, how many times have you done that diagram? I know you've done at least 3 or 4 times since we've been in. So now that you have a video, okay, go ahead. Oh, just one? You haven't changed yours?
Yeah, one time.
Okay. Okay. Well, mine is pretty much the same. Mine is pretty much the same. I think I probably switched one thing.
But what I had to do was I had to make it a little bit more realistic.
Yeah.
Because I did, like, coming in, I initially set it for like $1 million, for a year. But that's as long as I'm doing this full-time job, I won't make that. I won't see that. So I want it to be more realistic, and I've downsized it to execute those little goals that I know I can do.
Okay, but like I think we talked about it before you jumped on.
Okay.
When we setting our goals, of course we want to be realistic. We want to be realistic. But did you downsize to what you only know you can do, or did you leave room to stretch yourself, as Ms. Vicky said?
No, yes, I left room.
Okay, as long as you left
Yes.
room to stretch yourself, because like I was saying earlier, I know when me and Tiffany, that's my accountability partner, we started, we said, oh, we're gonna do that $100,000. Then we thought, oh no, it's in the middle of the year, we're not gonna get that $100,000, so let's go down.
Right.
But we should have kept that $100,000 because it would have stretched us further.
Right.
So when we are being realistic, let's not go to only what we know we can do. Let's just always remember to stretch and still go outside the box.
Right.
So I just want to,
what happened was when I did the business goals class, that really opened my eyes to to really see, like, okay, you need to set these many appointments, you need to capture these many leads. So, and that's why it's such a great class, because you get to see really what you need to do, the numbers you
Yeah.
need to do per week or daily or what have you, calls you need to make, appointments set. So that kind of like, you know, set me straight as far as a goal.
And I really I missed it. I couldn't go in because I have a daughter here doing
Yeah.
virtual every day. But yeah, so yeah, and those are the things we need. We need, like I said, realistic stuff.
Yeah.
So now that we have the goal in mind, let's see what it means for you to achieve that goal through real estate. So the first thing you need to understand is how your commission works. And this is where I think a lot of new agents get confused. This is where the whole financial parts come in. Many new agents get the check for their first closing and we pocket it. They just pocket it. They don't think about anything else. But you'll get in trouble down the line. So let's talk about where the money goes, how it will actually be going to your goal. These numbers are very general, but are meant as an example. So, actual amounts will definitely change. First, you're on the seller side of the transaction. Half the commission goes to the buyer's agent. The same is true if you're a buyer's agent paying 50% split of the seller's agent. Once you have your half, about a third of that goes to the market center to cover your company dollar, your franchise royalty, and fees. After you pay the market center, roughly
36%.
Yes, hold on, y'all. My husband is knocking on the door while I'm teaching class. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm teaching class. Sorry, y'all. So after you pay after you pay the market center, roughly a third goes back into your business. This covers the marketing, operating expenses, signs, your car, your phone, anything else you need to conduct and grow your business. Finally, you get your share. With a caveat though, your take home includes your taxes. Remember, when Susan pays us, she does not take out our taxes. So you got to put away money for your taxes religiously. Make sure you do that. If you don't have an accountant, get an accountant. Get an accountant if you don't have one. You do not want to have a year's worth of work wiped out because you failed to plan. That's why I'm so thankful my best friend is an accountant. And if you need one, she's in Mobile, but she does everything virtually. I haven't seen her in over a year now, but she does everything virtually. So she's very good. I know some of y'all been on calls with her, been on the call that she did last year, and she's willing to do more. So any ahas or comments about that right now, about your money?
I was just saying, since I have my first closing Friday, I've already set aside, in my head and put it in writing, like this 30%, talk it over with my husband, just to let him know how that money will be. Cause I don't want him to see, a check come Monday and think, oh, that's good. But no. This is what happens, so I wanted to, have that discussion with him. And so that he'll understand that I am growing my business and running a true business, even though I may be doing it, considered part-time.
My husband don't see my husband don't see my check. It goes into a whole nother account.
And so he won't see it, but I still like to have it.
Yeah, like he sees it on paper,
right?
That money he knows, like I said, he knows my fee. That's $700 some I gotta pay this month. That has to come out of that. All that stuff has to come out of that. So that is just where the money goes.
And see, I'm in the hole already because so really I'm not gonna see any of that because everything's in the hole. And paying that fee for this year back in December, it's just I'm really in the hole from that.
Yeah, so. But you'll get it back. You got to close on Friday.
Great. And I know a lot of business owners, they say that they really don't even focus on the profit until maybe year 2 or 3, but they take that first couple years to build. And so I think that's a good idea for us agents to just build in our first couple months or first, whatever, and then the profit, it'll start coming, it'll start compounding, but initially just start the foundation. And so I know for me, I had to like really talk to myself, like, don't touch, like leave it there.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
the first thing you want to do is but know that those things will come and you can just start that foundation.
Yes. So that, like you said, that's what you have to do, because we can get so caught up and, forget that those are things we have to do. So now, our objective in this activity is to get real about tying your business to your goals. We're going to figure it out based on how much money you'll receive from a transaction, how many transactions you'll need this year to meet your goal. So first, we're going to estimate the average sales price and your GCI in our market. As you experience selling more homes, you will be able to estimate an average sales point and GCI that fits your transactions more accurately. So I know in our market center that our average sales price is not 300,000, is 150,000. I think it went up to like 164 last year, but we're going to stick with the 150 just for reference right now. So where it says 300,000, you can write this stuff down if you want to, or just remember it. So where it says 300, we're going to do 150. Our market center, our average gross commission is 4,500, not 9,000. So let's keep those two numbers in mind. So our market center company dollar is 20,000 instead of 27, and our franchise royalty is the 3,000. So our total is 23,000 instead of 30,000. That's our our cap number. Those are our cap. Our cap is 23,000 and not 30. And I know that's a goal that we all want to reach. It's our cap. We all want to cap. That's what we want to do. So and everyone knows what cap is and stuff, right? Okay, so won't go too much into that. Well, I'll go into it for those that are reading. So well, that's it. They know what that is. Sorry. So we'll look at this. So our net income, say you want a net income of $100,000. We want to keep that 100,000 because it's just simple. Our company dollar and our royalty cap will be 23,000, remember, instead of 30. Our business expenses, I didn't change. My business expenses aren't $50,000 yet, and I say yet because I want to get to where they are $50,000. But so we'll keep the business expenses at $50,000. Our total GCI is A plus B plus C. Ours is not 180. If you add ours, it'd be 173 simply because ours went down to 23. Our average GCI is 4,500 instead of the 9,000. So our annual transaction goal is actually higher, to be like 38.4 because we have such a lower, our average sales price of our home. And of course that varies depending on the homes you sell. So, but just on an average, our actual annual transaction goal is like 38. So that'll be 38 transactions a year. And that seems that's a lot, but it's not unachievable. Ms. Vicky, if you don't mind, do you know how many transactions you had last year?
You mean 2020?
Yes.
14.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is, the price of the homes vary. So just because she did 20 doesn't mean that everything was $150,000. Some were less, some were a lot more. Some doubled that. Some might have tripled that.
And that will make your cost per sale, your average cost, it'll make it different with your the price of the houses that you're selling. And
Yes.
sometimes it might have been an investment property that was low, but then it could have tripled that in just a regular, or even more than tripled. So yeah,
Yes.
and that's where, that's where the average is going to come in at.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
that is just like I said, just because we said 38, that's just if every home was at $150,000, every commission you got $4,500. That's that, like I said,
Yeah.
these are just numbers for example. So you have to just look at you just have to keep up with every transaction to see where you are at that time. And also, for us PC people, another thing, let's not forget to take out our productivity coach's fee. Miss Vicky need and want her money. And Susan's gonna make sure she gets it. So we also have to add that into our money.
Now, how do we add in like referrals? Because I think I have one of those coming as well.
Uh-huh.
How is that calculated?
You're paying out a referral, or you're receiving a referral?
Receiving.
That person should put that in on their transaction. You need to make sure you have paperwork of that. And you need to make sure Susan has it.
And
it's new, like brand new, so it's nothing. They haven't even gotten the information. We just talked about negotiated
Okay.
referral fee. So we
okay.
negotiated that, but nothing's happened just yet.
Okay. Because there's a form that you can send them to fill out as well.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So next we have setting your goals in Command. Has anyone set their goals in Command? Or
I did, but I don't know what happened that they didn't save.
Let me y'all want me to try to do it while we're on here to see if it'll work for me?
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Let me stop sharing this screen and let me go into Command, you guys. Hold on 1 second. Because I did it last night. And like you said, but I don't know if it's saved. So share my screen. Where is my command? There we go. Can y'all see my command screen now?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it says set my 20. Did y'all see where I went to where it says set my 2021 goals?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it, Cherie?
I didn't see it. Where did you put?
Let me go back out. Let me go out. Up. Nope, I don't need help. See, right up. Go to my dashboard. No. Go home. When you're at home, it says right here up top, set my 2021 goals.
Mm-hmm.
See it? We'll hit that. And then it come this screen. Then you'll go to get started. Go to get started. Oh, mine saved, Miss Vicky.
Okay, let me see.
So what you'll do, being that mine saved, I'm trying to see.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah, okay. I went to get started.
Mm-hmm. It did.
And that should have said something about, then you should have an icon that says reports icon. And at the top of the page says click goals, goal settings, and then to get started. So there's a few steps you might have to go through. And if you need help with that, I can go through the steps with you later, Cherie. Because I think because I've already set mine, that I didn't have to go back through all those other steps. So then you'll choose your year right over here. You'll choose your year. So I did 2021, and you put in what your annual profit goal is. And like I said, I'm gonna do my 100,000, and I'm putting this out there. So now I'm held accountable by 4 other people because y'all have seen it. And that's what it is. And Tiffany, you cannot allow me to change it. So I kept I'm almost positive my expenses are not going to be $50,000, but I kept that because that's what we had as the example. My cost of sales is going to be my royalties and my cap, my company dollar and my royalties. So I did the 23,000.
Okay.
I kept my listings and buyers at 50-50 because I just don't know which way it's going to come. Hopefully I get more listings than I get buyers, but I just kept it at 50,000. We do know that our average commission is 4,500 for each. So it's telling me, let me move my thing over. It's telling me that in order to get $100,000 goal, and my cost sales is 23, my operating expense is this, I need to make my annual GCI needs to be 173. Because if I want $100,000, if I want to profit $100,000, I have to still make up that 73,000 with my expenses and my cost of sales. Now, realistically, I'm sure I can go down on my expenses.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll spend half of that.
Me either.
On matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and just take it down because I'm not going to spend $50,000 by any means necessary.
Now, how did you change it, Shakira?
I just clicked on it and changed and just typed over it. But I can't change my cost of sales because I want a cap. I can't change a little. I don't know who doesn't want a cap. So that's what I'm keeping that at, is 23. Then I'm gonna hit next. And this is the part, like I said, I need to, it's conversion rate. These are default as a Killer Cloud Gains data. This is what it says. Leads to contact 5%. These are, and everyone's might be different. And I'm going to save and continue. That's how you do it at the bottom. Is you save and continue.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's saving my information. And this is what every time you log on, so it's saying I need to make $148,000 to profit $100,000 because I have to offset those sales and those expenses. And that is with me doing 50% listens, 50% buyers. And like I said, that might change, but hey, that's how we set those goals. So.
And we keep in mind that of that 100,000 that you've netted, that is 30% of that 100,000 goes back into your, well, no, it wouldn't go back because you already said, well, no, yes, it would, because that would be taxes. And then
of that 100,000, I still got to pay those taxes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Of those 100,000, I still got to pay those taxes. So let me go back to the slide. Where was I? Right here. Okay. So this is what we did. We set our goals and command. Any more questions or anything about that right now? Okay, let's go on. So right now, doing the right activities. The point of our conversation today is not to be discouraging. It is to equip you with the reality of how to succeed. No matter how big your goal, you can achieve it in real estate business, as long as you focus your time and efforts on the right business. Something Adam always says when he's on the business call is whether you believe you can or you can't.
That's what it is.
So whatever you believe, that's what it is. So here we go with the 80-20 principle. This is the 80-20 principle. The idea of the 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply in your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. This is where we talk about Miss Vicky's big rocks and her fishbowl. So, like you said, if you had a jar or a bowl or whatever, and you put in your big rocks first, w- you would be able to put like this: if you have a jar and you have rocks and you have sand, what would you put in first in order to make sure everything got put in there? You would put the big rocks in first, and then you will pour the sand, because the sand, those are the small things that you can fit in there. Because if you put your little rocks and your sand or your gravel in first, you won't have room for the big rocks.
That's right.
Your big rocks are your most important activities of your day, and those that cannot be skipped. Those are your must-do things. You have to do those things. Your little rocks are your distractions or your smaller tasks that you may need to be done, but aren't going to, close your goal. They're not going to hurt your goal. So you can't put the sand in and then think you're going to stuff those big rocks. Now you're going to be tired and exhausted and worn out. So let's do the big things first. And what is that big thing that we do every day?
Lead generate.
That's it. That is what we do. That had to be, that's the biggest rock. That's the biggest one. That's a stone. That's a big stone. That's a mountain. Let's get that first. So another way to identify your 20% is to ask the question central to the one thing. What is the one thing you can do right now that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? And I think we've already answered that, lead generating to me. That's the one thing that you can do that make everything else easier. And Cherie, we discussed this weekend. You sat down, you lead generated, and out of 4 calls, you got 7 to 8 people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
4 calls, you got 7 to 8 leads.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
And I just started at the top of my contact list in my phone.
And you only got to 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
You have hundreds of more people to go through.
Right.
So
that just goes to show it gives you the enthusiasm and the will to call again, because you called this many people and you got more than what you called. So that's what lets you know. And it gives you the zeal to even want to do it the more, because you know something is going to come out of it.
Mm-hmm. And it made it better because even if those don't come into transactions, that happens for me, but it still, just like you said, gave me the confidence to continue to call other people, because I'm expecting to get some no's, but I'm expecting to get a lot of yeses too.
Exactly. But not only that, Cherie, it also gave you that opportunity, because you talk to them, they're, like you said, they're not only contacts anymore, they're leads now. Now you put them on those smart plans. Now you keep in contact with them. Those are the people you keep in contact with. Why? Because they said yes. They said yes, they wouldn't mind working with you. Yes, they want to talk to you. Yes, they're interested in working with you with real estate. They open that door. So now you keep in contact with them. Those are those touches that you make for those people.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, Shakira. And Cherie, another thing to keep in mind is that the one with the most relationships wins. So don't think just because you may not be able to get business out of them right now that, that's a no. But every relationship you get, put them in your database and grow that, because that's what it's all about. Like, I think I know myself, I get so caught up into, like, I think lead generating is like looking for business. Who's ready to buy or sell. But I had to really change my perspective and just say, how many relationships can I get in a week or in a month? Yeah. Because those relationships, they're either going to turn into business or they're going to be turn into people that can refer you business. So it's never like a wasted call. There's never a wasted call. When they pick up, that is an opportunity right there. So
I remember Taisha saying, I don't know if you know Taisha, Cherie. I remember Taisha saying that her very first call, this lady has yet, this is what, 13, 14 years ago? She has yet to buy a home from her. But she has sent her so much business that she still talks to this lady weekly. So this, she hasn't bought anything from her, but her sisters have, her children have, like her friends. She sent her so much business. So like we said before, we're not in the home selling business. We're in the building relationship business. We're in the people's business. So, oh, wrong thing. Oh, here we go. So here's a slide of activities that we see every day. We know this is how successful agents spend their time and how you'll spend your time. Everything on the list will have to be done. You're trying to identify what your 20% is. Which action will get us the most and best results so that we can do everything else? And we've gone over that. Lead generate. My two things, lead generate, time block. Lead generate, time block. Those things go through my head every day.
Because if you don't time block, you won't lead generate. Because every time you get ready, if you don't time block, it's gonna be a distraction. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna come in and need you to run an errand because you have the liberty with time. But that's all you're gonna have is the time if you don't time block to do your one thing to say. At this one time, I'm not going to stop until I get this done.
And I know for me, so I break up my lead generation. I do some in the morning and I do some in the evening based on people's work schedule to me. Because some people like to get to work and they like to do their little things and they don't mind being talked to early in the morning. Some people can't talk in the morning. They want to talk in the afternoon. So when I'm sitting up here at 5:30, 6 o'clock talking to people, it's those people I know that I couldn't get to in the morning time. And so that's one of those things. So our 411. At KW, have you seen, you've done 401, correct, Cherie? I know Tiffany and Gerald, we all have.
Yeah, I have gotten that when I first started with PC with productivity coaching.
Okay, so we're gonna just briefly go over it. This is the tool tracking that tracks our big rocks and ensuring all of our activities tie back into our goals. It helps us focus, and it's called our 411. There is a digital copy if anyone needs. It's in our toolkit on our KW Google Drive. So how do we use this? We identify one of the 5 rectangles that we did, that chart we did, the little spider looking chart, and we identify one of those things as your big life activity. And this is why I said, we don't do them all at one time. We just focus on one. And while all the elements of our big life are important, suggest that we select one that's most urgent or the one that you care about the most. It's possible that your big life will involve professional and personal goals. And that's okay. Because to me, if I put a personal goal, I have to work professionally to get to that because I have to make the money to get to that goal. So to me, mine it's always personal for me. Because it's about me, my life. So what you need to do to achieve and make this part of what would you need to do to achieve or to make this big part of your life possible? For example, how much do you need to make this year to survive? How much extra is needed to pay off the student loans? So there's a budget that, that we live off on just to survive, to eat, to live, car, those basic things. But then how much extra do I need for those student loans? And I have to put those numbers together and figure it out. That would be your annual goal for that year. So, you get your annual goal, and based on your get paid worksheet, this is that thing, how much we need to make that year, sticking to our goals, Tiffany, and how much more do we need to reach those goals? The number of transactions we need this year to meet their goal will go under annual goals. How many closings we need each month to reach our annual goals will go under monthly goals. So on an average, to get 20 transactions, you'll need 40 appointments. How many appointments do we need a week to meet that monthly goal? And then that's when we start filling out our weekly goals, things like that. So any questions about this 411? I know I briefly gone over it, but if you need go into depth about it, let's talk to our PC coach.
Well, not really a question. I just wanted to say, even as we were talking about the 411 goals, Katie sent me one from a mega agent, and I can share this with you all. But even when we, a lot of times when we start to talk about our goals, we're just thinking about our business goals. Remember, we have some personal goals as well. And with me, that's very important to me, because I think if we don't implement our personal goals, we can't achieve our business goals. Because some personal goals with me is to be more health conscious, because if I'm not more health conscious, then I'm not going to be able to achieve my business goals, because if I don't take care of my body, it's not going to last to be able to achieve my business goals.
That's
So
right.
I wanted to be able to say that, because I don't want us to forget about the personal goals as well.
And I know for me, like you said, especially with the personal goals, like I think everyone, especially doing the health thing, that is something I can add on there as a goal that is not necessarily taking money for. So I can say, okay, this year I want to do the 100,000, but when it comes down to my weekly and monthly goals, I can say, hey, I'm going to work out how many days this week, and make sure I check that off every week to get that done. So I'm with you, Miss Vicky. You have to put your personal goals in there, because if you don't, life can't just be about work. You have to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
So
Another thing that I noticed with the 411 is I think the whole goal of it is to take that big goal from the beginning of this PowerPoint and break it down into such a bite-sized, thing, so that I know, because it can be like overwhelming to make 100,000, but I think these 411s, they
go get
really
your
help
daddy.
to break it down to bite size of what can I do this week, just this week. Like, if I just do this week, then I'm on the right track. So I do like it. And, like Shakira was saying, not even making it about business, but, what's your annual goal for your health? Okay, so this month I'm going to do this. This week I'm going to do this. And I think it makes it so much better when we're able to break it down and say, okay, wait, I need 40 appointments for this month, which means, I need 10 for each week, or, so many, and just to break it down to, okay, so if I go on, 2, 4, whatever at a time that I'm doing, so, I guess it keeps us on track, and it breaks it down into a bite size, because sometimes, like, when I hear something big or a big number, I'm like, oh man, when I see it like broken down, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then another thing, just having something like to visit every day. A lot of times with me, I'll set a goal, but I'll forget it or something. So if I can see it in front of me, like, and that's one thing I'm working on too, is like all my goals, my plans, to like put it somewhere in plain sight, so that every single day I sit down, I know, like, okay, this is my why, this is what I'm doing, this is,
Yes.
It's a big help.
Yeah, like you said, Tiffany, seeing it broken down, because we get to that annual goal and it seems so big. But when we start breaking it down, it's like, okay, that is more achievable. That's how I'm achieve. I'm just take it one bite at a time. So that's how I look at it as well. So here's reality. The day-to-day life of successful agents is very repetitive. They know what their routine produces. They know that their routine produces the results they need to live the life they want. Often that's enough to make them love the grind. There are so many of you that once you start seeing your work pay off, you'll love it. You'll enjoy honing the system and skills to compete at the highest levels. So I want you to give something of what it says. Oh, even those of you who find you love it will have days when you need more of a push to motivate yourself. I think that's all of us. We all have our days. There are some days, especially beginning Monday, it was so dreary, it was raining. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do anything today. But we have to get up and do it. That rain had nothing to do with me sitting in this house getting my work done. Other than it was just dreary and I didn't want to do it. But I had to have that push to do it. So, like I says, think about your big life and the goals you set for yourself. Remember, these are your goals. Everyone's goals are different. And what I had to learn to do is stop comparing my goals to other people's goals. Because we all have other stuff going on. You know, we all have different various in our lives that set our goals for us. So think about one of those people or those causes named as something you care deeply about. I want you to use that person or thing you care about to create an affirmation. Say the affirmation aloud whenever you begin your task. The key to creating a powerful affirmation is to be specific. Tie the activity you're doing to the greater goal and remind yourself why your work matters. Let's say part of your big life is ensuring that this is an example that your mom is well cared for as she ages. And let's say the one way that you want to do that is to help her pay off her house. I want you to write an affirmation that you will say out loud before every call. Make that as you lead generate. For instance, you can say, I'm making this call to provide for my mom by paying off her house because you provided for me and I want to show her appreciation. That's just something you say to yourself. So just make affirmation. I know we talk about affirmations, do daily affirmations. These are things we do. And this, when I was reading this, I'm going off, not off topic, but it led me to the Bible in Isaiah 55:11. And it says, so is my word that goes out of my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for what I sent it. Speak those things into existence. Our affirmations are speaking those things into existence. Our tongue is very powerful. And that is one thing I love about this business. Gary put is God, family, business. Speak those things into existence. There are not many jobs I can get on here and start quoting scriptures and not get in trouble for it.
Yes.
So while I was reading this lesson, that came to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, any questions, comments?
Well, I just have a comment, and that's the reason that you always hear me say I command my day, because what I say is going to line up with the word, and it is so. So when I command my day, I don't let anybody change that, because if I'm going to believe he said it and that settles it, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. It is what it is. Anybody else? Anybody else want to share an affirmation that they say or do every day or anything?
Mine is really not that, I guess not finesse, but it's just, I don't whine, I work.
That's it. Hey.
It's yours. That's all that matters. It's yours. And now that would be so good. My husband would love that, because he do not like the whining. And he say my voice whines, which is just my voice, but he just don't like the whining, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, write that down and give it to him, Miss Vicky.
I know, right?
So yeah, that, we have to have those affirmations daily. I remember and I need to start back doing it when Jada was, especially when we started kindergarten and stuff. We used to get up every morning. I used to, do affirmations to her, tell she's beautiful, she's smart, anything she sets her mind to, things she can do. And those are things, because those are things I know she can do, but I wanted her to know she can do.
Uh-huh.
And so, it got to a point to where she just started rolling it every morning. She just started saying it to herself every morning, because I believe children, they need their own affirmations as well.
They do.
So they need to know, because they're living in these same times we are. And so we just have to give ourselves affirmation every day. So goals without accountability are just wishes. We're more likely to do what we've said we're going to do if we know we must answer to someone. So accountable people achieve results others can only dream of. So I know, does everyone have an accountability partner? Gerald, I think Justin was yours. I think he put you down. Sheree, do you have an accountability partner?
Yes, Erica, Avery, and I are going to work together.
Okay. And I just want to remind, just because we have a set accountability partner, we are a family. And I think I've talked to everybody on here personally on the phone before. And we're all, to me, I feel we all hold each other accountable. Or we should be able to. So I don't mind someone calling and saying, hey, Shakira, remember you said you were going to do this? How did that go? Did you do it? So I don't mind. I don't mind being held accountable. Push me. So that's, those are things. I'm one of those, you can't love me if you don't check me. You got to care about me. I want to see you care about me. And I'm going to hold myself accountable, check in on you guys. If you give me a goal and tell me what you're going to do, I want to call you and say, hey, so Sheree, remember them 7 calls? How many people you talked to this week?
Yeah.
So that's what I think we should do. And then when you're getting with your accountability partner, share your 411 with them. Share your 411, set your annual goals, your weekly, your monthly goals, and hold each other accountable. That's how you hold each other. You can't hold someone accountable if you don't know what their goals are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why me and Tiffany last year, like I said, we kind of decreased it because we scared ourselves. But this year we're going to hold each other accountable to what we said we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we said we're going to do. So what are our ahas from this session? What are your ahas?
I think mine is what we just talked about, and that's accountability and holding each other accountable. And I think you can also do that indirectly. Like I think accountability can account for like congratulations.
Yeah.
And social media is pretty big with that, where we go on and we congratulate our peers and our colleagues in what they do and what they achieve, and that's showing accountability for what they achieved. Just congratulating them instead of just passing by and not acknowledging the work that they have done. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yep. Like I said, it just holds us. I showed you guys my annual goals. I'm held accountable by you all, and I renewed my PC coach, and so I definitely am accountable by Miss Vicky. So now it's one of those where, okay, she saw my goals.
Yeah.
She saw what I put in there. I saved it. I'm not changing it. So when she called me and said, all right, how close you to your $100,000? Well, let's go pull it up. And I have to do what I have to do now to do it, because I don't like disappointing people. So
All right.
And I think for me, Shakira, my aha today was, I guess I got 2. This year I want to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a good Ignite session for that, because we talked about our 20% and like what's the one thing that you need to do that all other thing, and I think if we really honestly every day, my goal is to get down to like what's gonna make money. So a lot of times, y'all, I'll sit at my computer. I'm like, oh, let me call so-and-so. All right, let me put them in command. Oh, but let me do this. And then I'll end up doing 2, 3 little small things that I could really do at night. Or, you'll get...
You're doing the sand, not the rocks.
Yeah,
do the rocks.
Exactly. And so really my whole thing is like, what can I do every day to where at the end of the day, I said I had a successful day. Like I had a good day. And that's
Yeah.
really the 20%. That's
Yeah.
that 20% that I know if I do this, if all I do today is lead generate, then I had a good day. So
And and that is so important. I mean, because if you do all these little things, you fill your job with sand. Remember, you can't get anything else in that jar. But if you put your big rocks in there and put some sand, start to drop some sand down in there, it's gonna go around those big rocks.
Mhm.
You've gotten the big rocks in, and you can still do a little, put some sand in with it. You just want to make sure you're taking care of your big rocks.
That's it.
Yeah.
that's definitely true. And it's like, the doing that lead generation, that's what brings me business. Like that's the one thing that makes everything else, fall.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, then I don't have a business, then there's no need to be even being on this call, so like everything like trickles down to like that one thing. So
That's it.
yeah, in 2020, like, oh man, I couldn't get together. Like my focus and stuff was just like, I think it was everybody. We were so uncertain. So this year I was like, let me really buckle down to like really do the things, because I felt like I could have spent more time with my family. Just you really realize how short time is. So everything you do, you want to move with like intention, like I need to do only what's going to do this for me today, so that I can still spend time, with my son. I can still see mama today. But if I lead gen today, and that's all I did was lead gen, then I don't feel bad when I'm with my son or my mom, It makes me feel better.
Like you said, I know for me, I felt that last year I felt kind of overwhelmed, especially towards the end of the year. So I feel this year I'm not rushing January. I'm taking January to make sure my goals are set, making sure they're realistic, making sure I don't want to take 2 or 3 days to just rush and set my yearly goals. And I should have started the end of last year. I should have. Let me start with preface saying that. But I'm taking this time now to set and be intentional, because I'm being intentional about everything for my health wise, my financial goals, my work goals, all of that. So that is what I'm taking the time to do now, what I've been doing the last 2 weeks. So, and I'm I feel I'm mentally feel better about it. So, and then me and Tiffany will get together and get our goals and not compare them, but hold each other accountable for them.
Oh yeah. I think just getting it out there, like just hearing it, like leave your head and out of your mouth, it does something. It transforms your goals on another level. When you get out there into the universe, like this is what I'm going to do. It just really helps you to give you that push.
That's it. That's it. So, anything else from anybody?
One I guess 80% that I worked on from yesterday was what Sarah presented about the files. That was incredible. For her to have one email sitting out there.
Y'all, you have a lot of, I can't, I'm like Sarah. I am a little, when it comes to, I'm that type. I don't have unread messages. I don't have, that bothers me to have people have like 5,000, 6,000, 100 emails and stuff saying that. Oh my God, I just want to throw their phone. I can't do that.
I don't like notifications either. No. Don't give me a notification.
No, everything in my email is filed. I have my Google Drive files down. My files on my laptop are like I'm OCD about labels.
That's nice. That's great.
I'm very
and I worked on that yesterday. So
get
more organized.
We're about to get off too. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, I can't do all those messages and bubbles and saying I have all these things available. That kills me. So yes, I was happy someone else was just as OCD about me when Sarah posted that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had an issue.
I didn't feel like I had too many folders. I was like, yes, thank you, Lord.
Like, I have a folder with recipes, and I have a folder with receipts. I have a folder for every client I've had. I've had a folder for just my medical stuff. Everything belongs somewhere. And I only keep it in my inbox until it's completed. Like, I have a lot of stuff that's being shipped to my house. I'll put it in my receipt folder once it gets to my house.
Yeah.
It lets me know what's coming because I do a lot of ordering. So
I got to do better.
Yeah. Better because it really helps with your like focus and your clarity. Because I'm working on it. I'd be like, my mind be a mile a minute, but I got to get organized.
Yes.
I got to get organized.
So yes, guys, so that was it. I thank you guys for attending today, our faithful few. Hopefully other people will go back and listen to this and they'll get something from it. And like I said, I was telling Cherie, excuse my fat face, is getting fatter every day. I'm back on steroids. And so for the next few months, y'all will see my face grow, grow, and grow. I look like a chipmunk, but that is why. So
well, the thing is, we just want you to be
healthy.
Right.
Yes, and I am. So getting healthier. So if y'all are like, why are her eyes so small? Why is her face so fat? I am back on steroids for another 2 months right now. So
we love you no matter what.
Well, thank you. I love you guys too. So when I wear my mask, you can't really tell. So I start wearing my mask on. So, but other than that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow during Ignite.
All right.
Okay. See you all soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shakira.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.